Alright, so in this video, I'm going to try to write the last 3 programs here and get through this as quickly as I can. This will help demonstrate entering information into variables, calling methods, or calling functions, passing variables into functions, and running calculations. So, alright, so the first one, it says, write an application that reads the radius of a sphere and prints its volume and surface area. Use the following formulas. Print the output to 4 decimal places. I'm not going to do this right here. That's kind of nitpicky stuff. The idea is more to understand, you know, some of the basics of this. So, and let me scroll in real quick. View. Sorry. I'm kind of blind, so when I see that R, I don't see what's after it. Okay, now I see it. R to the third and R to the second. All right, use the following formula. So, the volume and the surface area variables are dependent variables, and they're dependent on these calculations right here. So, and they're dependent on the radius that the user is going to enter. Okay, so R represents the radius, pi is pi, and it's, so this was for Java, math.pi. It looks really similar in Python. So that's the radius to the 3rd power. You will need to use the following Java. Okay, again, so this is going to be Python, and I'll show you how we do this. So I'm going to type in IDLE, and I'm going to say file, new file, and I'm going to call this thing save as, and I'll say main volume surface area. Okay, so let's see here. Excuse me. We're going to have a radius, and that will be, we're going to assume that it's a float. So you could enter whole numbers, but we'll just allow you to enter in, you know, whatever you want. Input. And I'll say, please enter the radius of the sphere. Okay. Then from there we will have a volume. We'll call it set volume because we're going to have a volume variable, so we'll say set volume, and we'll pass in the radius, and we'll have set surface area, passing the radius there as well. Okay. So with your methods get read after this. So the code's going to actually read this line of code first, because the methods don't even get read by the compiler at first unless they're called right here. So I'm going to say define a function called set volume. And by the way, I apologize for this in other videos. Obviously, I'm working with Java, C++, and Python, so I'll mix up language. Like a method is a function and a function is a method. It's just in Java they call it a method, and C++ and Python they call it a function. Okay, so in here I'm going to have a volume variable, and I'll just set it to 0.0, and then I'll say volume is equal to 4.0 divided by 3.0 times math.pi times the power of our radius to the 3rd power. Okay. Now that would give me an error because I need to import math so I can use this pi variable. Okay. And then right here, I'll just do a print. and I'll say radius, and then plus the string. I'll turn into a string the radius so that it shows up properly in here. Plus, and then I don't know, volume plus str volume. Okay, and run that. Please enter, and I'll say 5. Okay. So what would it be? 5 to the third equals 125. 125 times pi is roughly 3.14 times 4 divided by 3 is 1.3 repeating, I believe. I'll check it out after this. So 523. So what's 4 divided by 3? Yep, so 523. So we got 523 here roughly, so that looks good to me. Okay. So next up, we gotta uncomment that and say define set surface area. We'll pass in the radius there. And then what's the formula? 4 times math dot pi times pow radius to the second. And when you start kind of getting fat, now this is kind of dangerous copying and pasting, but you know, I don't know. I've been doing this long enough. Surface area. It's dangerous because you want to be able to always, you always want to be able to control your code, and when you're copying and pasting, you can make mistakes. So, let's run this now. So this one should be less than that, right? Because, well, let's see here, 5. Yeah, what did I do? Line 17. Boom, that closes that. I'm guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Surface area radius. Set surface. Oh, you know what? You gotta spell things right. Run. 5. Alright. So if I did 5 to the second is 5 times 5 times 3.14 times 4, 314, 314. Alright, so that's that one. Pretty easy, no problems. So when I compile it, I save it, so I'm just going to close it. So the next one is write an application that reads the lengths of the sides of a triangle from the computer. Compute the area of the triangle using Heron's formula, in which S is half of the perimeter of the triangle, and A, B, and C are the length of the 3 sides. Prints the area of the 3 okay, so I don't care about decimal places. Alright, so this is another kind of just simple, you know, easy program that showing you how to enter in information. And so I'll say file, new, and I'll say file, save as, main, Heron's triangle. Okay, so again, we're entering a side. I'm not going to use A, B, and C. I'm going to call it side 1, 2, and 3. And then I'll keep this as S, and then I'll run this calculation to get the area. So we need the user to enter side 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to say side 1 is equal to, again, a float input. And then I'll say, please enter side 1. Okay. And we'll come down here and say area, and we'll pass in side 1, side 2, and side 3 to it. And then again, we're gonna use math because we have this square root, so I'm gonna import math. So I'll define, I'm gonna call it set area. Set area. So I'll say side 1, side 2, and side 3. And so I'll just say S is equal to side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 divided by 2.0. And I'll say area is equal to, I think it's just math dots, yeah, I think it is this. We'll try SQ, RT. Again, I got like 3 different languages floating around in my head. So we'll say S times S minus side 1 multiplied by S minus side 2 times S minus side 3. So S times side 1, side 2, side 3. And so then, just print area of triangle. So area of triangle. And then what? STR. What is it? Area. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of, so if I did 10 plus 10 plus 10. Okay, so let's just do this in our heads real quick, all right? So if I had 10 plus 10 plus 10, that would give me 30. Divided by 2, that would equal 15, right? So then we get, I don't know what I'm not going to be able to, I guess here, let me see if I can condense this thing. 15, so I've got, S is 15, so 15 times, so 15 minus 10 is 5, times, same thing, 5, times, and the same thing's 5. So if I do this in my calculator, where did I put that? Now you always want to test your work, and testing takes, when you start to get to big programs, testing takes more time than anything. So 15 times 5 times 5 times 5 equals 1,875. So Do I have a square root thing here? I don't even know if I've got that on here. I don't know if this is it. Sorry guys, I'm not a math I'm not a math teacher, so standard. Is this a square root? Does it say? So square root of 3 or 9, so 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, that works. So 1875, and the square root of that is, so we should get 43.3. Hopefully my math is right. So if I do 10, 10, and 10, 43.3. Okay, cool. So it tests and it works, all right? So that was easy, all right? Again, we have the user enter information. It gets stored in here. You want to make sure that, because right here, this input's going to enter it in as a string, and this will convert it to a float. So then you set the area, you pass these, and then your code goes up here, and side 1, 2, and 3 get passed into here. It assigns it to S, and then you get your assignment for area, and then you just print it out. So that one's done, and that one works. And the time is getting a... Let's see if we can get this last one, this miles per gallon one. So IDLE. So file new, and then we're looking for miles per gallon. So file save as, we'll just say main MPG. All right, it says write an application that computes the number of miles per gallon of gas for a trip. The total amount of gas used should be a floating point number. Also, accept 2 numbers representing the odometer readings at the start and end of the trip. Okay, so you need the user to enter in the start and end odometer. So I'll say start odometer equals float input. Please enter the starting odometer. Please enter the ending odometer. And then we can just say set MPG and pass in the start odometer, and end odometer. End odometer, okay. Oh, and then I also need to use gallons. I don't know, let's just say tote gallons. Gallons used. Let's float. Input. Please enter the total gallons used. Okay, and I'll pass in that. Tote gallons used. Tote gallons used. So we'll define our set MPG, and we'll pass in start odometer, end odometer, tote gallons used. And I can say MPG is equal to end Then what I can just do, something simple like miles per gallon. So then what? Let's say I started off with 1,100 miles, and I started with 1,000 miles. So, you know, just again, I'm just gonna use easy numbers, all right? So I ended with 1,100. I started with 1,000, so that is equal to 100. And let's just say I use 10 gallons of gas, so that should be 10. Okay. The MPG should be 10 miles a gallon. So 1,100. No, start is going to be 1,000. End is 1,100. And I use 10 gallons. I think I know it. Yep, I did that wrong. So I have to make miles per gallon a string because I start off with a string here and I have a string. So run that again. Let's try that. That should fix it. So start is 1,000. End is 1,100, and I used 100. What did I do wrong? Oh, I used 100. So 100 divided by 100 is 100, so I didn't do anything wrong. What I need to do, though, is change that to what my test was. So start is 1,000. 1,100 is my end, and I had 10 gallons. So there's 10 gallons again. So I did two different checks, and they look good. So anyway, these are just kind of basic programs that we're at right now, and you should be able to write these by now. So anyway, this video is done.